This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Feeling like today is your birthday.
Bring it on.
Fresh cut, tape a new fade.
Bring it on.
Tie-dye, every single shade.
Bring it on.
Catching that ride on the way. Rain may come, but I say,
bring it on.
I don't gotta worry.
Not at all.
Washing out the gray with all the good vibes, good vibes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we ready right now. Right now. Got me feeling so free, free. Got me feeling so free, free.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
You know it, I know it, and even on a Monday, it does not matter who the host is. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods. Anyways, today is Monday, December the 18th of 2023, day 352nd of the year, and only 13 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, you guys hanging out with those people, because it's always a fun time when we get to do that. Anyways, how have you been? How was your weekend? Did you do anything exciting? Are you realizing that we're only 7 days away now from that holiday? You know, it's the birthday of the guy, and then all of a sudden everybody else celebrates by getting gifts. It's kind of a weird deal. Guess how that goes. At least that's, how the celebration's supposed to go, from what I understand. So let's talk real quick. If you don't know about our show, it's okay. We're a very good hidden gem. With that being said, let's talk about what we do. It's simple. It's not a hard process, and you get to hang out with us. It's a great time. So we talk about safety in the news and safety, kind of the way that we do it here. Outside of that, if you want to come in and hang out with us, callinradio.com is the easiest format to get you there. What happens once you get there? Simple. You hang out, you click the button, you give a tidbit of information that gets you into our system if you want to talk, hang out, and do all that kind of fun stuff. So not a problem. So callinradio.com. We'll do that for you. So video, audio, and text messaging, all available right there. So that's what we do. First hour is the Rated R Safety Show. Outside of that, then we go into Radio Big, hang out, and do some things related to the world of music and entertainment. So there you go. A lot of stuff to do, short period of time to do it in. So why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
So when you take a look around, it's a simple process. The University of Idaho community looks to move on, and the scientists brace for a wild year of solar activity. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Next thing up is Travis Kelce going to pop the question. Is the question, is there going to be a song about me? Also, Maya It will be out of the Jeopardy in regards as the host, and President Joe Biden chats with Conan O'Brien. We'll talk about that. He debuts a new footwear, and fans are a little bit confused. And I think that's going to be about the highlights of what we do. The great part about it is that we have some professional broadcasters that come in here and they, tell you a little bit of everything that is going on, so you don't have to worry about that. So they'll come in, take over, take care, do their thing, and let you know what expectations are. They'll lay out, the professional style as I'm just kind of hanging out here going, okay, we're talking. Yeah. Some people refer to themselves as a host, journalist, just a guy behind a microphone. That's all I got going. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this right now. Let's bring you some news, because I think we need to do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Israel is facing growing pressure to reach another hostage deal. The accidental killing of 3 Israeli hostages by IDF forces sparked a massive protest in Tel Aviv on Saturday. An estimated crowd of 100,000 people turned out for a rally to demand the release of the remaining hostages. Late Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu indicated that he's open to more negotiations with Hamas. Donald Trump is comparing himself to mob boss Al Capone. Trey Thomas has more on the former president's remarks in Nevada on Sunday.
Trump referred to Capone by his nickname, Scarface.
Now, I heard he was indicted once. A couple of people told me a few times more. But I was indicted 4 times at Al Capone, Alphonse.
He added that if you had dinner with Capone and he didn't like something about you, he would kill you, and yet only got indicted once. I'm Trey Thomas.
Florida Republicans continue to call for the resignation of current GOP chair Christian Ziegler. Representative Michelle Salzman expressed her frustration after an emergency meeting on Sunday.
He needs to resign. It was unanimous. Every single motion today was unanimously voted on, and he's still there.
The demand stems from rape and sexual battery allegations against Ziegler. Party officials held the emergency meeting during which they voted to strip him of most of his power as chairman and reduce his salary to $1. A vote on his formal ouster is expected next month. Dozens of granola bars and cereal products are being recalled for a potential salmonella risk. The Quaker Oats Company issued the recall on Friday, advising consumers who bought the affected products to throw them out. The affected products include flavors of the Quaker Chewy bars and puffed granola cereal. In a major storm packing strong winds and heavy rain is threatening holiday travel as it barrels up the East Coast. Forecasters say strong winds, heavy rain, and flooding are likely from the mid-Atlantic to New England. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The UK and Germany have joined calls for a sustainable ceasefire in Gaza. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is beginning a multi-day tour of the Middle East. Media tycoon Jimmy Lai's trial has begun in Hong Kong, and Japan's called an emergency national security meeting after North Korea fired 2 ballistic missiles within 12 hours.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham believes that a border security deal won't happen until after the first of the year.
We feel like we're being jammed. We're not anywhere close to a deal. It'll go into next year.
Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, Graham slammed President Biden's border policy, saying the president has obliterated the border. The Republican senator has been a staunch supporter of providing aid to Ukraine and Israel and said he still supports the two countries 100,000%. But Graham was also quick to say that national security experts should apply the same vigor and energy to fix a broken border. He blamed what he called border chaos on the Biden administration, abandoning former President Trump's border policies. President Biden is safe after a car collided with a vehicle that was part of the president's security detail Sunday in Delaware. Chris Carrasco has the details.
Biden was walking to a waiting SUV from his campaign office when a car hit a Secret Service vehicle being used to close off intersections. The car was surrounded by police following the accident. It's unknown at this current time the circumstances behind the crash. I'm Chris Carrasco.
New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art said on Friday it will return stolen artwork to Thailand and Cambodia. The museum said it will return more than a dozen pieces of ancient artwork after discovering the late famous art dealer Douglas Latchford was likely involved with them. Latchford was indicted in 2019 for allegedly masterminding a plot to sell stolen Cambodian relics on the international market. An agent for Homeland Security said in a statement Friday, the Metropolitan Museum of Art has not only recognized the significance of these 13 Khmer artifacts, which were shamelessly stolen, but has also volunteered to return them as part of their ongoing cooperation to their rightful owners, the people of Cambodia. In 2013, the museum returned 2 pieces of art to Cambodia that were also linked to Latchford. And it was a sweet weekend for Wonka, which topped the box office by a wide margin. The candy-themed fantasy musical took in an estimated $39 million in its opening weekend. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
You are listening to a Radio God. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a Radio God. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. Currently 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So, it's there. It is so close. It's not even funny. So hopefully you've had your holiday shopping done and you're ready to go. If not, well, I guess it's an Amazon ordering or shopping kind of week for you. There you go. So, anyways, so let's get into it because there is a lot to cover, little time to do so. Are you listening to a lot of those weekend in review type of things? Because you're going to get a lot of those this week. I've been contemplating, should we talk about some of that or not care at all? I'm kind of like on the not care at all section, but we'll leave it there. Let's continue talking. The University of Idaho has begun preparation to demolish the site the last November of the grisly murders of the 4 students. School officials ultimately decided that razing the house would be the best way for the campus community to move past the tragedy. The lead suspect in the case, criminology student Brian Kohlberger, remains in jail while the trial start date remains pending. Brian's defense team visited the murder site last week for one last chance to take photos. Prosecutors of the case say they'll pursue the death penalty. This is according to KXLY CBS News coming out of Idaho. So here's my question. How much are they going to rampage into this whole thing of, well, we needed to walk the scene, but it was demolished? And, you know, those kind of references, because I watch a lot of court dramas, and I shouldn't say that like a TV show. I should probably rephrase that. Court docs. So it's interesting to see where some of this might go, but we'll leave it at that. Anyways, let's just call it NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, reports that solar flares that reached Earth last Thursday and caused a widespread radio interference between pilots was one of the biggest ever measured. If you brought 2024 was already going to be bananas, buckle up because NOAA predicts that the current solar cycle will cause more disruptive flares throughout the course of the year, peaking in October. This is according to The Verge. Now, let me tell you something. If you've been if you've been a satellite customer, like any kind of satellite service, when you start seeing more solar flares or having more interference, they normally are related to the solar flares. This has been something, particularly with satellite radio, that I can tell you about over the last few years. Nothing wrong with the tech. It's just certain things are going to cause a level of interference. So think about it in that particular fashion. Anyway, the Florida man caught sneaking into an apartment on Thanksgiving morning to steal what it appears to be the ingredients for a screwdriver. Surveillance footage shows that a man exiting with a bottle of OJ and lemonade vodka. And the total theft was around $35. Polk County would still like a word with the guy. This is according to the New York Post. Somebody explain that to me. Why is it something that's coming out of Polk County, which is kind of like the county between Orlando and Tampa, coming in and spreading the word about why is the New York Post spreading the word of what's going on in Polk? Kind of a weird one. Looking to trim up for the new year? Well, maybe try cauliflower ice cream. The first of its kind, offering blends of cauliflower plants that were rejected for the sale because of the cosmetic appearance with coconut oil and pea protein for the base. The 30 flavors include strawberry swirl, chocolate swirl, and mint chocolate bark. This is from only available in New Zealand. And I will have to tell you, unless something else is strong killing those flavors, you don't want that as the base of anything.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Is that really an entertainment thing, or is that just really an honesty thing? I mean, think about it for a second. Are you going to want anything with a base like that? I'm just saying. Anyways, a study out of Ohio State University suggests that the average American consumes an additional meal worth of calories every day by just snacking. The typical diet includes between 400 and 500 calories of junk food, often with no nutritional value. That usually exceeds the calorie of the typical breakfast. Go figure, people that already are diagnosed with diabetes tend to have a healthier snacking habit than those without the disease. This is according to OSU. So what do you think? I'm just saying. I mean, it's weird sometimes. It's just weird sometimes when you start talking about it. Just think about it. So let's talk about the box office real quick, because I think we need to do that. So coming in this week, if you made it into the movies, you probably already know The Shift came in at number 10. staying at with just $1 million there. Poor Things, $1.2 million up from the 17th spot. At number 8, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, $2 million, down from number 5. At number 7 was Napoleon with $2.2 million, stayed pretty much in the same spot. Also did Wish with $3.2 million, stayed at the number 6 spots. Troll Band of Brothers fell from number 4 to number 5. Also, Godzilla -1 fell from 3 to 4 with $4.8 million. The Boy and the Heron, $5.1 million, falling from number 1 to number 3. And at the number 2 spot, The Hunger Games, a ballad song, and The Snakes, $5.8 million, stayed at number 2. And the new movie coming in at number 1 was Wonka. Now, listen, I don't know if you're a Wonka fan or not, but I had this genius idea to take one of my kids to go see this over the weekend. I did not realize, it only took probably about 30 seconds to come to this realization that this thing was a musical. And nothing against musicals. I mean, hey, to each their own. But yeah, if you want to sit there for a musical, it's a good kid flick if you want to see it. I mean, I try to stay awake as long as I could. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying. So with that being said, why don't we do this? Why don't we do something important and bring in some Erin Royale and let her tell you about what the hell is going on with some Money Matters.
The week leading up to the Christmas holiday weekend, we'll see a number of economic reports released that could give an indication where the economy may be headed in the new year. Brad Siegel has more.
The first notable economic report comes Monday with the Home Builder Confidence Index. Housing starts and building permits follow the next day, with existing home sales on Wednesday. Weekly jobless claims are due Thursday. Most analysts expecting just a slight increase in initial requests for unemployment benefits. Revised gross domestic product figures will also be out Thursday. Friday brings data on personal income and spending, along with new home sales and consumer sentiment.
Costco Gold is a hot-selling item for the wholesales brand. The first quarter saw $100 million worth of gold bars sold online. The 24-karat South African gold bars were listed for over $2,000 an ounce on Friday on the website. The sales are non-refundable. Inflation is on track to hit the 2% Federal Reserve target in 2024. That's according to the Congressional Budget Office forecast that predicts annual inflation will continue its downward trend from this year's nearly 3% average to 2.1% in 2024. It points to a softer labor market and slower increases in rent. The CBO projects annual inflation could fall as low as 1.9% in the first quarter of 2024. Southwest Airlines is garnering attention on social media for its customer of size seating policy. Some TikTok influencers praise the rule, which allows passengers who are unable to comfortably sit in one seat to be put next to an empty seat. They can also buy 2 tickets in advance and get a refund at the gate. Qualifying isn't based on weight, but rather is available to anyone who has had a part of their body that extends past the armrest. Southwest says it's had the policy for 3 decades, but only went viral when an influencer mentioned it on TikTok. But others online criticized the policy, saying it's unfair to tall people or easily abused since anyone can buy 2 tickets and be refunded. Consumer and business news, Erin Royale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that policy. I forgot I was listening about that on Friday afternoon. Somebody was talking about it on the radio, of course, and I was like, this is something I've seen before. But think about it; they reference quite a bit in regards of the refund policy if you buy the 2 tickets ahead of time. Interesting times. Like, do you get the refund at the gate, or do you just get onto the flight and say, oh yeah, I didn't take the flight? But then you have to buy one of those tickets that is non-refundable. I mean, I'm just asking. So, I mean, I guess it's smart because then you're asking for a higher tier, but we'll leave it neither here nor there. Anyways, to continue with this, the Dow increased by 56 points to close at 37,305 on Friday. The S&P was flat, about 4,719, and the NASDAQ increased by 52 points to close at 14,813. West Texas Intermediate closed at $72 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $77 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.06, and Bitcoin dipped over the weekend, trading just around 41,600 on Sunday evening. There was more than 4,135 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and more than 115 such cancellations. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $41 million jackpot or a $20.4 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $543 million jackpot or $572.2 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you still have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. So let's talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about everything that is going on. I will tell them as I see them and go from there. An abandoned car in Denver neighborhood is finally gone for good, but until after some neighbors had some fun putting some decor on it. Alden Schilder, who lives in Julianne Street and West 21st Avenue, says that the Chevy Impala was parked on the street for about 3 months before they came outside to a good laugh last week.
100% surprised. Some festive people, could be anybody, decorated it with some holiday cheer.
The car decorated with tinsel and the spelling of the word toe. It also dressed in personalized gift stocking, a bow on the top, and a letter to Santa reading, "Abandoned police tow for Xmas." Schiller said that they made the 2 calls to the city and nothing was done with the car. The Denver Sheriff's Office, which handles abandoned car requests, said that they received around 5 complaints from the neighbors, but the festive decoration put it on notice, and the crews finally towed it last night. No one knows how it got the holiday spirits. Nonetheless, neighbors are happy for Christmas. It came early, so there you go. Take a listen to what else was said.
I mean, the fact that it's, about 2 feet off the curb as well, it has a parking ticket, so someone noticed it on a municipal level.
Well, someone hoped that they noticed it on a municipal level. That's some way to put it. Take a listen to this one. El Paso County is hiring a new prosecutor to take domestic violence. Fourth Judicial District Attorney Michael Allen says the additional resource office hopes for victims who fear ramification for taking their intimate partner to court.
Generally speaking, on domestic violence cases, this is across the nation, about a 30% success rate on domestic violence prosecutions. That's much too low in an area that's got a real big need.
It's the first time the 4th Judicial District will have someone focusing on only helping victims to take on their abusers. The DA's office says that there's a number of cases in the last 5 years that have remained above 250 each month. With the summer being the worst, last year alone, 94 lives were taken by domestic violence across the state, marking it the 8th year high. Misty Metters, who works with Break the Silence, runs the Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center, says the holiday may bring a spike in domestic violence as victims because they have a limited access to report their abuse this time of the year.
Your kids, animals, whatever may be with you because they're not going to school or whatever the case may be. So the teachers aren't seeing it. Nobody else is seeing it but you, and you don't know how to say anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure because there's a lot of things that are happening, moving, grooving, and all that kind of fun stuff when it's all said and done. So I don't know. It'll be interesting what happens with the 4th District Court there. Anyways, the Detroit People Mover, not police, People Mover will be free to ride starting January the 2nd for all of 2024. The fare is currently 75 cents a ride, but does not have an electric way for people to pay. And officials say that it is easier to make the train free instead of making it for the upgrade of the system, which makes it this woman extremely happy about what's going on.
It's not that bad now, but I feel like if it was free, more people would ride it.
They are planning to use a paid sponsorship to offset the losses from the rider's fee. Detroit Transportation Corporation officials say that there is a zero fare pilot program that's successful and will have made it permanent. Detroit Transportation Corporation General Manager Robert Kramer says that's making the People Mover free for 2024.
The choice is to invest in an all-new system, which would be, we're estimating about $5 million. Or if we could find a way to offset that fare revenue, we really feel like it would just open up the floodgates, so to speak.
So offset the fare revenue. Now, I don't know how much I should talk about this because, this is an industry that I'm familiar with. Normally, most transportation organizations run at a loss, especially for the city. It's kind of the way that it goes. And it's offset by money from the federal government. So what kind of sponsorship are they looking for? I mean, that's going to be the interesting part because this now changes your neighborhood in regards of all the ads on the side of the buses. Is that good or is that bad or is that indifferent? I don't know.
Duh.
So there you go. Something to think about. Anyways, forecasters say the jet stream is dipping in San Diego. We'll see rain this week. Bree Tennis has more.
The National Weather Service says showers in the forecast this week for San Diego. They say light showers for today. A better chance for showers comes Thursday and Friday. The National Weather Service says the disturbances are part of a subtropical jet stream dipping down to SoCal. In addition to rain, San Diego will see high surf, the chance for scattered thunderstorms, and snow above 9,000 feet. I'm Bree Tennis.
Okay, thank you, Bree, for that one. What do you think about that? Because that's gonna be interesting. I will tell you that what's going on this side of the planet, if you're down in the east, southeast in particular, you'll figure out that there is all kinds of rain that is going on over here, and people are kind of losing it, expecting it to be very similar to what would be considered hurricane weather for this area. So there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this one coming out of the Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom says that the body camera footage released yesterday of an official involving shooting on Saturday shows the police were doing what they could to de-escalate the situation.
This is literally every police officer's nightmare to have this happen to you.
Police got called early Saturday morning about a man threatening customers inside of a business and locking himself in the bathroom. They found him in an alley around 8:30 in the morning, the Union Avenue Northeast and Ennis Street in Northeast. The 19-year-old admitted of having a box cutter with him. He started charging towards the officers and was shot several times and was shot one more time after getting up and going into a garage. The suspect is recovering at the hospital and is expected to survive. The Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom says that he's thankful that the suspect who was shot by the police is still alive.
I've seen injuries ranging from disfiguring to deadly with box cutters.
Yeah, it's an interesting time, no doubt about that, as we are talking. So let's get into this real quick. Here you go. Okay, take a listen. So Fantasia Barrino is alleging racial profiling was the reason she and her family were ousted of an Airbnb rental over the weekend. The actress singer posted on X that the Airbnb host accused the group of having a party and making loud noises. Barrino says that she was never told that she couldn't have a company over and that was evident that the house was set up to host parties and gatherings. Airbnb has reached out to Barrino to look into the incident. I thought it said on Airbnb, the website, that you can't have parties at most of these places now. That is supposed to be the reason that you can't rent the place. I don't know. And believe me, we could sit here and have all kinds of weird conversations about Airbnb. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, but who wants to do that? I mean, especially on a lovely Monday. You know what I want to do? It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So why don't we do what we would normally do around this time for you to have a little chitter chatter here. So let's get into our main story because it's just time to do so. So let's do it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we are on a Monday. So, it's interesting because I get to do some very interesting stuff. And I get to talk to all kinds of people. Not sometimes, I feel like it's all the time, which is a good thing. I mean, I do not take any of it for granted, that's for sure. But it's interesting sometimes to take a listen to what exactly is going on inside of the world. And I get kind of hung up on some very weird things. I get hung up on when people start talking about different forms of safety. That's fine with me. But what bothers me is when people start saying how somebody is absolutely wrong if them and their organization is doing X, or if they're doing Y, or if they're doing Z. Because listen, everyone has to have a starting point. If you're the fastest running person on the planet, you didn't know that you were the fastest running person on the planet until after you learned how to crawl, and then you learned how to walk, and then you learned how to run. Just kind of how it goes. It seems like most of the time when we're talking about some of this stuff in regards to what goes on inside of organizations and if they agree or don't agree with what we're doing, it's an opposition operation. It's like an op-op. Yeah, seriously. Opposition operation. Op-op. Let's just call it what it is. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I will say that a lot of the stuff that I get to go around and talk with people about, I call that what I get to do is a bolt-on. And let me explain what I mean when I say this. Because we are doing an addition to your system in regards of what is happening. And if you look at that and think about it, yeah, this bolt-on could be an add-on to something that goes into a whole other system. But you will always have a level of foundation and cores of what is going on inside of the organization before things started to change. Think about this for a moment. When somebody comes out and paves a road, the road's paved, it's perfectly fine. Then they might actually have holes, potholes, and so on once this pavement's been there for a while, and then they might repave the whole road. Now, do they rip out existing stuff to start paving? Most of the time, the answer is no, but there is still some foundational ground to it. So you're always going to be building from something, and it is kind of silly if you sit back and go, okay, most organizations have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars inside of a safety program. And all of a sudden, because now there is this thing that you have determined is what they need inside of the organization, that everything has to be erased and this is the new starting point. Because that's not the case. It's impossible to do something. Look at it from a different perspective. You start having a new relationship with someone, but are you going to bring some of the stuff that you did previously in other relationships into this relationship? Yes, kind of the way that it goes. So, as you think about this today, is an opposition operation the best way to go? Think about it. It is a bolt-on to the structure that is there. I would love to tell you that if you do an op-op, you're doing yourself a disservice. But if you change it and start thinking of this from the standpoint of let's build from what is there and add on, that might be the better approach. I'm not going to say it's always the best approach, but it might be the better approach. Keep in mind that people have to change slowly unless their environment entirely changes. That's normally what we have to think about when it comes to these anomalies.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free to use the code SafetyFM-free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free with code SafetyFM free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Radio USA, Canada, UK. Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans.
So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Got me feeling so free. It's about time. I know it's about time. It's about time. Driving on open roads. Bring it on. Speaker shaking the floor. Bring it on. Swish, yeah, another free throw. Bring it on. Bubbles lifting as we flow. Rain may come, but
Oh, here we are. Rated R Safety Show. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Still rocking out on this Monday. Can't rock out on the talk show. So, this right here, it's about time. Kent Parks. Available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. Would like to thank Kent Parks for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep, there you go. You know, we always love us some music around here. Yeah, we know it's about time. It's about time. So let's go ahead and get some free right there as we are talking. This still is the Rated R Safety Show. We are still broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. No doubt about that. But guess what? This is when we get to talk about some important stuff. This is when we get to talk about the portion of how some of these things can impact and change your life. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. We're talking about my friends at To Right Love on Her Arms. And no matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Right Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now. And things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is the following. You go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help, and that will get everything moving for you. Like, seriously, it will get everything moving for you. And I'm talking about information overload in regards of what you can do. What is available out there? They will be able to help you find the resources to get you connected to help. Keywords, zip codes, states, whatever you want to do. Once you get there, you'll also notice that there's a way to apply for a scholarship for treatment and recovery. There's also ways that you can view mental health resources that are for outside of the U.S., frequently asked questions, and they even have a format of suggesting programs to you. Listen, it's okay to talk to somebody else. Not everything in the world is perfect. And it's okay not to be okay. Some people think that it's not possible. Listen, it's an easy process because we talk about these things all the time and go, okay, cool. Why is my head here? I can't talk to anyone. I probably shouldn't reference this is going on. No, it is perfectly fine to talk to people about this. We get into these weird stages on these mental models that were brought up to us many, many moons ago. And we look at it and go, how's it supposed to work? Well, it's not supposed to work in any particular format. We're supposed to have life adjust to us, not us adjust to life. Isn't it? Think about it. That reality that you're going through right now is the way that you visualize it, not anybody else. Let's not get too deep this morning, I guess. So, To Right Love on Her Arms, CWLOHA.com, and click on the section on the very far right-hand side of the website where it says Find Help. Listen, it will change your life in regards of what is going on. No doubt about it whatsoever. So let's talk a little bit more about some things that are going on inside of the world, though, because I always think that it's important to do that. So we should talk about the holidays because we're so close to it. The countdown to Christmas is on, and hopefully it includes some time off for you to spend with those that you love the most, of course, and other family members, because, that's important too. Time off of work, of course, is closely associated with happiness, according to a new survey from workers in the U.S. The happiest people took an average of 15 days of paid time off last year. That's a good news. Not so good for the fact of the whooping of the 38% of workers who took less than that for the average. Let's see. The sound, because let's take a look. If you're allowed to take some time off because you felt that you couldn't get away, well, that's going to be a problem. And this might also sound familiar. To compensate for their guilt of leaving their work for vacation days, 66% put in extra hours in ahead of time, and 69% responding to notifications while off. By the way, 87% of employees said that they would prefer $10,000 raise rather than taking vacation days at all. Really, a $10,000 raise? What the hell are they paying you over there? If you're gone for 15 days, they paid you $10,000? That's a deal. Sign me up. You're making that sounds like a good pay rate. I like it. Let's see. It sounds like a lot of people live with their mother-in-law. I mean, I don't know how else they're going to work it. And the only paid time off I get is when I watch YouTube in my office. You get it? Yeah, I hope you did. So there you go. There you go. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Like, I never know what's good time off, what's bad time off, all that other stuff. Just, it's just an interesting time, to say the least. Anyway, let's continue talking because there's all kinds of stuff always going on, I feel like, inside of this world. So, are you looking forward to doing anything this particular holiday season? Because, hey, it gets weird right away when we start talking about all kinds of stuff. So, what is the biggest fear of things to talk about during the holiday season? Well, I don't know what it might be for you. I will tell you, when I go visit family members, normally the biggest fear is talking about politics. So why don't we dive a little bit into that? Donald Trump is comparing himself to mob boss Al Capone. Trey Thomas has more on the former president's remarks in Nevada on Sunday.
Trump referred to Capone by his nickname, Scarface.
Now, I heard he was indicted once. A couple of people told me a few times more. But I was indicted 4 times at Al Capone, Alphonse.
He added that if you had dinner with Capone and he didn't like something about you, he would kill you, and yet only got indicted once. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Take a listen to this. The Texas Congress says that the Senate and the White House will have to sweeten the current border security deal to get the aid package for the Ukraine and Israel through the House.
The root of the issue is labeling cartels as terrorist organizations, and the other piece is holding these smugglers accountable that cause damage and kill Americans.
Okay, speaking on CBS Face the Nation, GOP Congressman Tony Gonzalez acknowledged that what the Senate and the White House want is much different from what the White House wants. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has been spending the weekend meeting with bipartisan groups of the three senators over the border security. Gonzalez criticized the White House for not having President Biden or Vice President Harris meeting with the senators. Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez said that the Senate and the White House want what they want is much different. Here's what he said.
Part of that is coming to the realization that there's going to have to be some different things in there.
Also, Gonzalez criticized the White House, as I said earlier, because of the president or the vice president not being there.
If the White House is serious about this, they shouldn't be sending Secretary Mayorkas to the negotiating table.
So there you go. There you go. Should we do one more? Yeah, let's go for it. One Senate Democrat says that Israel Prime Minister is undermining the vision of peace.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has been an exceptionally difficult partner.
Delaware Senator Chris Coons said that CBS Face the Nation, the President Biden and most of the Congress want 2-state solutions with Israel and the independent Palestine nation. Coons agrees that with the U.S. standing strong with Israel after the October the 7th Hamas attack and enabling Israel to defend themselves. However, he also wants more humanitarian aid to get Gaza and wants Israel to do more to avoid civilian casualties. Also, Mr. Goon says that standing strong with Israel after October the 7th and Hamas attack, enabling them to defend themselves, is exactly what he said here.
President Biden did the right thing right after the horrific attack by Hamas to go to Israel.
Also, Coon says the president and most of Congress want 2 separate solutions. Take a listen.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has done everything he can to undermine a positive vision for peace for Israel.
So, a lot of stuff going on right there. That's the stuff I try to avoid when talking or when hanging out with large family groups because, everybody has a different point of view, and that's a good thing. I mean, yeah, I guess you can have the discussion. It shouldn't be a discussion. People get weird sometimes. I can't talk to you anymore because you don't agree with my point of view. That's kind of a weird thing. You're never going to change anything by doing that. Let's stay out of the political realm. It might be better. Anyways, let's do this. Let's bring in some John Smalls into our live and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. Today's quote was submitted by Tom. Plato said, "Good people do not need laws to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws." I love this. Plato was a pretty smart dude. Think about what he stated here. You can make something illegal, but if someone is okay breaking the law, they don't care if it's legal or not. Meanwhile, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you're most likely not going to do things that are illegal, whether there's a law or not. I understand that people who are elected into office, they want to make us feel like they're doing something to help. And I get that. I wish they would think it through a little to realize that Plato knew something about this a few thousand years ago. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A weight loss drug that's seemingly everywhere these days has a dark side.
It's called Ozempic, and even Oprah is on it. As its popularity grows, so do a surge in overdoses. Dr. Sean Varney, who heads the South Texas Poison Center, says some of this is from people who think if a little of the medication is good, then a lot is even better.
And that is not the case, because there's always a point on the curve where, now you're into the danger territory.
There were 500 overdoses in his state this year, 3,000 nationwide. The symptoms bad enough to send some to the hospital. I'm Michael Board.
And with many people making plans for holiday gatherings, gatherings, the State Department of Health is reminding everyone to protect themselves from serious illnesses. The agency says there are currently vaccines available to help keep people safe from the flu, COVID-19, and RSV. The CDC believes low immunization rates could lead to a massive spread of these viruses in the coming weeks. To find a clinic in your area, head to vaccines.gov. Health Update, Jacqueline Carl, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline Carl, for that information right there. So let's talk about this. Do we want to go COVID or we want to go something else? Let's go something else. Back in 2009, James Cameron's Avatar becomes the highest grossing film of all time, surpassed Cameron's Titanic, which held the title for 12 years and could remain on the top until overtaken by Avengers Endgame in 2019. The film was nominated for 9 Academy Awards, including the Best Picture, Best Director, and won 3 Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Visual Effects. That happened back in 2009. So let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Billie Eilish, oh yes, she turns 22 today. Ronald Acuna, 26. Emily Attack turns 34. Ashley Benson, 34. Christina Aguilera turns 43. Katie Holmes turns 45. Josh Dallas, 45. Trish Stratus turns 48. Sia turns 48. Stone Cold Steve Austin turns 59. Brad Pitt turns 60. Steven Spielberg turns 77. And Keith Richards turns 80 today. So if you want to celebrate some birthdays, there you go. I mean, hey, you might have a party and not even know that that's what's going on because of so many birthdays that are going on today. What else do we have? So it's National Roast Sucking Pig Day. What? Yeah. Oh, roast suckling pig. Oh, that sounds much worse. Can't even speak. Let's see. World Language Day, Baked Cookies Day, International Migrants Day, Festival of the Winter Day. Those are all days that you can celebrate today if you are so inclined to do so. You know what else day you can celebrate? Well, it's all about that sugar and spreading joy. It's Buddy the Elf Day. Bree Tennis explains.
Today we celebrate Buddy the Elf from the 2003 holiday film, Elf. And there are 3 things you should do today. 1, answer the phone the way Buddy would.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color?
2, eat a lot of sugar, but you should probably check with your mom first. And 3, smile and spread joy. Extra points if you dress like an elf. And today we wish Buddy the Elf a happy 50th birthday. I'm Bree Tennis.
Okay, so thank you, Bree Tennis, for that one. A lot of stuff right there if you're so inclined to do that one for sure. If you need a random joke for today, well, I have one of those. You can tell a lot about a person by the way that he or she handles 3 things: a rainy day, lost luggage, and a tangled Christmas tree lights. There you go. That's how you know exactly what you're getting into. Also, if you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the strangest thing you've ever experienced at work holiday party? That can be repeated in this form. I just want to make sure that I'm clear because there's probably a lot more than meets the eye there. Also, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this question. For the average person this Christmas, this will only take 5 seconds. What is it? Deciding whether or not if they like the gift. So there you go. That's what it comes up to. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me. As I talk about the world of music and entertainment, we play some music, of course, as we are doing that. If you hang out here on Safety FM, you will get to experience the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. That's right there at Safety FM. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, because without you, it does not make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Never worry about the size of your Christmas tree. In the eyes of children, they are all 30 feet tall. Who said why so short? No, I'm just kidding. Nobody said that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you. Mean it and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
5, 4,